started. If
My brother didn't know. Where's your gavel?
I'm done.
All this meeting.
Sorry.
Emma will tell you.
Thank you all for being here this evening. It appears as though I'm preaching to the choir, which is fine, because the choir needs preaching to every now and again too.
Amen.
So with that, I'll open in a word of prayer.
Thank you.
And then we'll do the pledge. Dear Lord, thank you for this day, and we just thank you for all your blessings, Lord. We just pray that we honor you with all the decision-making and information that we're going to share today involving the Granville County Republican Party. And we just pray for all of our leaders, the leaders that we agree with, and especially the leaders we don't agree with, Lord. We just pray for them and their safety and decision-making. And we ask for this continued blessings for the meeting tonight, and we thank you for all you do for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Stand. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So, I had a couple of people lined up to talk, and they all fell through. It's the summer, and it's very difficult to... Again, I'm preaching to the choir. It's just difficult to get people involved and want to do stuff, and everybody's busy. So, our two folks that we had lined up kind of backed out on us and had other things going on. So, we're going to improvise and talk about a couple things and just have an old time round table family talk. How's that?
That sounds good to me.
Well, thank you. Then one approves.
I second.
So our executive committee met this past week, and as far as the party business, we moved our email service over to
Bluehost,
Bluehost from the
HostGator.
HostGator, which was just not working for the amount of emails that we send out and the amount of storage that we have and the amount of emails that we have. With all the executive committee members have their own email, and then all of our, of course, elected officers have their own emails. So it's just something that we had to bite off for a three-year chew for about $1,000, and we think that's going to help us in the future. So that was something that we decided on. We also authorize a 8,000 piece mailer that we are going to work with the Courtney Giels campaign on. And the mailer is going to be two-part again. I don't know the timing of the mailer itself as she's walking in the door now. Hi, Courtney. How you doing? No. Okay, set up. So Courtney came up with this wonderful idea to send out a mailer with all the Republican candidates on it, countywide, including the state candidates like EC and Courtney, and Frank Sossman, county commissioners. Brad and Tim will be on there. We're going to do, hi, Jimmy Barrier from Vance County, chairman from Vance County. Glad you're here. Wearing red.
I want to see how it's done.
Okay. I've been told I don't know how to run a meeting, so. So that mailer is going to be about 8,000 pieces, and it's strategic. And so we approved up to $1,500 for that mailer. And you think, wow, that's a lot of money. Not for 8,000 pieces of mail. To strategic people that we need to get out and vote. So, who's willing to go and knock on all those doors? None. Who's willing to make those phone calls? 2, 3, 4. So to fill that gap is direct mail. So that's the yes, Jimmy.
I want to ask you, in this mailing thing.
Yes.
You know, they told us over in Raleigh about bringing stuff there and they would run them through their mail. Are you guys going to do that? And it's cheaper. They'll help you pay for it.
So Courtney's coordinating the mailer through, she's coordinating the mailer. And she believes has got the best price and the best value despite what the NCGOP has offered.
Okay.
So, we tried to work with them before and they're
Yeah,
similar.
I haven't done that yet, I'm gonna get my feet wet, like, and try to do that on some things in Vance County.
I would suggest you shop.
Okay.
As far as, party business, that was really all do we have anything else going on? We spoke, quite a bit about the challenge and where we are with that, and I'll touch on that, in a minute. Stephanie, do we have a treasurer's report, speaking of our ex-com? Stephanie's not in here.
3916 as of right now.
$3,916.
Yeah. And that's after we paid the $1,000 for the Blue Hose. That's after we donated to the Frank Sossman, after we donated 500 to Frank, after we donated 500 to EC, after we donated 500 to Brad.
Did everybody hear that? So we donated to 500 EC, 500 Frank Sossaman. We paid for the new
500
email
to Brad,
system.
paid for the email system,
500 to Brad.
paid for the Hot Sauce Festival, paid for the Creedmoor Music Festival.
Yes, Hot Sauce Festival, September 10th. If you can help set up or come sit in a chair. Yes, ma'am? Oh, okay, you're volunteering. I better take your name now. So that'll be September 10th in Oxford. We have 2 spaces and all the candidates will be there. We'll do voter registration and just smile at people and tell them how great we are. Creedmoor Music Festival is the next weekend, September 17th. Georgiana, do you have something?
Yes, I wondered, the mailers that for all the candidates,
Mhm.
is it something that has to be folded and put together and labeled?
No, it's all done by the.
Essentially, what we're doing is paying.
Oh, all right.
So it's even a better value.
I was gonna volunteer to do that.
Yeah, it's all done by the printer. All we have to do is have the candidates authorize their picture and we pay our portion of it, so.
But there'll be another one that we need to fold and.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A while.
Yeah, if I knew, I wouldn't tell you at this stage. So, I want to take a minute because we have received a number of text, emails, some phone calls regarding the challenge and where it is, why it is, what happened, and where it goes now. So, would everybody want me just to start from the very beginning and tell you what we did and why we did it? And then you can ask questions. So at any time, a candidate or a party or any time in politics, there's a petition and signatures. It is good business, it is good politics, it's politics 101 to challenge that. Whether it's a candidate or another party. Just like the Democrats did with the Green Party. They got the Green Party kicked out of North Carolina by challenging signatures and petitions. It's no secret that the sheriff's race is an easier race with 2 people. So, knowing that the third party candidate needed to garner a number of signatures and do it the proper way once that process was over, in order for us to even look at the signatures and see how the signatures were done and who signed, we had to submit a challenge, which we did. And through a bunch of horse trading, through the lawyers and attorneys and the Board of Elections, we got to where we could sit down and look at the actual signature sheets and then pick through them. And a number of folks volunteered to do that and spent voluminous amounts of time looking at signatures. And what we found were a number of anomalies in the signatures. So the law says that, the Board of Elections at some point, once the petition process is over and they're turned in, the signature needs to be validated, not by the person that signed it, but by the actual signature. So they're to look at it, the signature card that they, on their voter registration sheet versus the actual signature on the petition. And the standard is if it doesn't match, it's no good, because perhaps it's not that person. So we comb through all, a couple thousand signatures, and we found a number that were clearly not the person whose name appeared on the signature. Thus the challenge. We had the 2 court dates, and based on the simple law that the Board of Elections needed to validate the signature, not how the signature got there, we lost. So, but in that time of the challenge hearings, and there was a number of folks that had to take the stand under oath, and based on their testimony and what they said, it's now prompted not the Granville County GOP, but other law enforcement entities to look at the some of the material that was stated in the hearings under oath, and they are investigating the statements. How many people have actually read the testimony that we put on the website? So some have and some haven't. That's it in a nutshell. So what happens now is beyond the Granville GOP, and it's up to these investigative law enforcement agencies to determine whether or not what was said and how it was said and who said it are crimes. So the challenge is over. We lost, and now chapter 2 is, however, these at least 4 investigative agencies, where they take it and how they take it. Is that clear as mud? Does anybody have any specific questions? Gary?
Is there any timeline?
I've heard over and over, and because I'm impatient, that it's not TV and it doesn't get solved in an hour. You know, there's, I know one investigative agency that has the case has given a list to Granville County for more information. So I don't know where they're at with that. I don't know, because it's had nothing to do
We're out of it.
We're out of it. Brad?
What are the agencies that are looking at it? I understand the sheriff and the district attorney, but are there other agencies that are looking at it as well?
Well, the county attorney gave it to the district attorney. The Office of Special Counsel has it in Washington, D.C., and I heard the SBI has it, and I heard, well, I know Training and Standards has it. Yes? Good.
It may be slightly different, but I'm a licensed A&P mechanic, so it's a federal license, and I did that for 30 years. As a aircraft mechanic, we would keep logbooks, and every time I signed that logbook, that's a federal record.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone tried to coerce me into falsifying that record by threat of my job, that's a federal offense. This is a very similar, they falsified a document that they did not do this under their free will, that could be federal.
Okay, that was kind of discussed during the challenge, which we lost. I think where we're at now is the actual testimony by a number of folks on the stand and what they said they did and why they did it and how they did it.
Yeah, if coercion was
Yeah, yeah. Daniel?
I didn't see the signatures, but I heard that one of our, Republican elected officials signed the petition. Is that true?
Yes. But I don't know that that's bad.
Yeah, well,
That
let me,
they supported another candidate,
Well, I
not a
mean,
Republican?
a signature
I mean, I don't
is-
agree with it, but
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah, in the perfect world, it probably.
the signature just says, we agree that he can run. It's all a signature did.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't
not a
imply a
vote.
vote.
Right.
Or actual support, so I'm gonna give that person grace. I can't for the life of me remember who it is, but, oh. Yeah, okay. It's just like, it's just like signs.
Yeah,
Sign
signs
doesn't
don't,
vote.
the sign doesn't vote.
The sign in the lawn doesn't mean that the people that own the sign, that own the lawn are voting for that person.
But if you sign the petition, it's sort of saying like, I think this person would make a good candidate for this position. So it is sort of support.
Okay.
Okay. Just,
It's been noted.
okay, thanks.
Yes, Gary?
Did we lose in an actual court? Or
Yes.
did we lose in front of the Board of Elections?
Board of Elections, which, yeah.
Which is not exactly the same as.
You should explain them what we lost, exactly what we lost, because
And then
they don't
the
know.
chairman of that was the chairman of the Board of Elections.
That's correct.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Yes, we lost that with the Board of Elections.
Did they say why, I missed the last half hour of that, did they say why we ruled in it?
Yeah.
Yes, because
I didn't
they had two elements that they had to rule on. Number one, is he constitutionally allowed to run for this office? Which he is a Granville County resident, he is a registered voter, he's over 18, being a registered voter. He's not been convicted of a felony,
Yeah.
which allows him to run for sheriff. And there were a couple others, and he met all those standards. In relation to the signatures, during the defense witness on day 2, despite a signature not looking like John Doe's signature on his registration card and John Doe's signature on the candidate's petition did not look anything the same. So in a couple of those instances, they actually brought John Doe up on the stand, and under oath, he said, yes, that's me, I signed it. And then in cross-examination, they said, well, why doesn't your signature match up? And every time, they were coached and said, well, I do not sign my name the same way every time. Which I've never heard of. But under oath, they're saying, yes, I absolutely signed it, and then I signed it in this person's lawn on this day, and this person was holding it. So, that was the standard that they were ruling on.
Were any of the signatures disqualified?
There were hundreds of signatures disqualified, but not enough to get them under the threshold of not being on the ballot. There were a number of cases where a husband signed for a wife and a wife signed for a husband, a mother signed for her husband and her children, and those were all thrown out, but again, it didn't add up to
Enough.
the amount. So,
The question they ruled on was, did he collect the requisite number of signatures? And the answer to that question is yes. We weren't really arguing that.
And is he constitutionally, does he check all the boxes to run? And they had to say yes. And we agree with that. We agree with the ruling. And they did a pretty good job of making their decision. So, that's kind of where.
It wasn't up to them to determine whether or not the signatures were valid. That was not what they were ruling on.
Yes, Jim, did you have something? Or Mike?
So you really had nothing to appeal that on. They substantiated that they met requirements for them to run legally from that perspective.
That's correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
we could have
And
appealed, but
we
it
could
would have
have
cost us
appealed, but
money.
Then it would have went to the state, which is a, Democrat-run control board.
So
Um,
we would have lost there.
Are the signatures public record now?
I think so.
Probably because of the case, yeah. Yeah.
That, that point there is interesting in that you could see, we could see who signed it and who's in that camp there that would sign and want that.
Yeah, it's a treasure trove of information, so it's,
Maybe you could say, you can talk to them.
here's the other uncomfortable part of the whole petition process and how it was done. We were told that it was, in some cases, done by deputies on duty in a patrol car in uniform. It would be uncomfortable for a deputy to come to my house and knock on my door, who I know, and know the candidate. If they say, hey, will you just sign this? Doesn't mean you're voting.
That's required.
Correct.
It is.
It is.
And it's a misuse of time and government funds and all that other stuff. But the average Joe is not gonna say no to a deputy standing in their driveway or
And they didn't.
outside of the Food Lion or wherever. Yes, Vance?
To hit on that a little bit, you gotta remember the timing, especially of the first few weeks of that petition. I announced running probably about 3 weeks before they started, so there was a very short time frame there, and a whole lot of people did not know I was running at that moment. There's a lot of people that signed that petition that are clearly supporting me now.
Right.
So I would be very cautious to say, look at the petition and say, well, they're supporting that. That's not the case with a lot of them.
What I was saying is, get that list, and you'll have it, and you can talk it.
Yeah, right, and some of the people on it, I feel confident, definitely have learned since that point and all of that.
They were just signing it, oblivious to the fact of what was going on.
That's right, that's right.
Anybody else? Jackie?
If it's not up to the Board of Elections to look at those signatures, they're just making sure that they have enough and that they're eligible to run, what venue does that come up?
It is up to the Board of Elections to actually go through all those signatures, but what was the reasoning for not doing it?
They're not handwriting experts.
They're not handwriting experts. And it just,
Didn't they say they went, kind of put it through a computer type thing?
yeah, they use a computer to generate signatures to actually,
Look at.
grab a sample to look at, so they, if the sample was 100%, then I guess they assumed that the rest was good.
But in addition to that, so whose place is it, or to look at how they were gathered, or where they gathered?
That's
The-
the million-dollar question. That's what we asked, and the Board of Elections that's not part of their, that's not them.
Is that what these other 4 agencies?
The law says, the law gives them, that specific law is not written very well. It is very, very, well, it's very specific as to what they are to do during a hearing. And so they just have to follow the law, like the law says this is what you do, and that's
here's
what
the
they
thing.
do.
So they wrote the law, so they had this process. I don't know that this process has happened in the last 20 years. Certainly has not happened in Granville County. I mean, we've never had a Republican candidate, let alone an unaffiliated candidate, try to do a right on the ballot petition drive. So I don't blame the Board of Elections a bit.
No, they did what they could do.
were supposed to do by the law, and we lost. Yes, Vance?
Two questions. Was there dead people that signed it?
Well, I think they died after they signed it.
They did, yes, but they died after they signed it, so
Yeah, but wasn't there one that?
I don't recall.
But that's not
It's-
enough to throw,
No.
I mean, it was
but-
one.
But my point is.
Good old
that-
boy
that
system.
person signed the petition.
My biggest issue was, and, you know, it's a tough word, but the forgeries. You know,
And if they're dead, someone
I mean, it's an official government document to get, that comes with it election fraud if you don't do it right. And there were husbands and wives and neighbors, or not neighbors, husbands and wives and family members signing for each other, and that's just,
I don't
don't do
think the
that.
average person knows that that's wrong.
Yeah, they-
It says it right on it.
right on.
It might, but who's read their disability sign the name? I'm not saying it's right, I'm just saying.
Well, you got a deputy handing it to them, they think it's legal.
No, that's the other part too.
Yeah.
Gary?
I think the Board of Elections rules on election law, and election law only, that's what they went.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had two laws based on election and now the
Right,
petitions.
so if it was a violation of some other statute, that was not.
Right, it was not up to
That's
them.
why these other agencies now have
Right.
the secondary 2.0 case that was brought out by the testimony, which is, I don't know where that went, Brad.
Yeah, it seems to me that the whole thing about the signatures being valid or not, that ship is sailed.
Absolutely.
As far as we're concerned.
Yep.
We don't have the time,
Nope.
the money to hire lawyers to deal with that.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
But it is publicly known at this point that coercion was used and a deputy on duty in uniform in a county-owned car was collecting signatures for a candidate. And that's up to Mr. Vance to hammer that in his campaign flyers and other communications that, look, this is how this department's gonna be run if he gets elected, or if you want it this way, or if you want it another way. The bottom line is coercion is coercion. I don't care how you dress it up, but let's stick on.
Are you sure you weren't a political strategist? I mean, it would make a great flyer, but I don't,
That's not up to us.
it's,
That's
yeah,
up to
I think we just need to let the process play out and be patient and all of you getting the correct information out, because there's so much being said that's not correct. And what we're telling you is exactly what happened and how it happened and why it happened. Yes.
Yeah, it
Yes.
doesn't say anything that I found in the, procedures for getting the signatures, that gives you anything about chain of custody or anything, along those lines. Is there any way that, that could be changed and what?
Yes, so you, because I want to wrap this up, well, Georgiana has a question, but let me touch on that, because when E.C. Sykes wins, when Frank Sossaman wins, and we have a supermajority that Cooper cannot veto, we,
Can clean this up.
Mike, we've already talked to the NCGOP lawyers and the attorneys that helped us with this. I think we're going to be a stakeholder in crafting new election law specific to, house signatures. And I think the simplest way to do it is simply making every signature sheet an affidavit. So the person that carries it has to sign it at the bottom that they witnessed every good signature, and they are accountable. Not just laying it on the counter at the gas station and having whoever sign it. That will suffice the chain of custody question you have. And if you ask me, that's simple legislation, quick, easy legislation, yes, EC?
I know you want to wrap it up, so I don't want to
Yep.
prolong it any further. But as you just stated, new legislation could help us improve our integrity of our election laws. The current representatives, House and Senate, put forth a bill to the governor to strengthen our election laws, and that specifically was when the Board of Elections somebody brings a challenge against the Board of Elections investigates itself. The law was to have the SBI investigate these issues rather than the Board of Elections investigate itself. Our governor vetoed that bill. There are lots of things we can do to strengthen our election laws, and this one example where it's already been attempted.
Yes, Gary?
We've got a number of organizations in the state that are monitoring the elections and gathering information, instances of election law violation and election law weaknesses. And there's going to be a coordinated attempt to do legislation in the strengthening of our areas.
But we need to win first, so winning is paramount. Georgiana? Yes.
Can I put a ballot box out in front of my house?
This may have been done already at a previous meeting, but Mike and Chad need to be thanked.
Yes.
For what they have done. Because I was in that room, Danielle was in that room, many other people were in that courtroom, and we heard what was said. We saw what people were saying. And they did the right thing, and they came under fire on social media like nobody's ever seen. And it was not right. I've thanked you before, both of you, for doing what you did. I thought that Smoot signed every page now. I thought that, but he does, when he turns in the signature, he does sign an affidavit that says these signatures were collected. There was text messages that were brought out in the hearing from deputies to Chris Smoot saying, there's a deputy at my door with a gun, I guess I have to sign this thing. And you'd think it was a joke. It's not a joke. There was another text message that said, so-and-so, it was from a deputy to Chris Smoot saying, so-and-so refused to sign the paper. And I think there was a threat at the end of it. I don't want to paraphrase it, but I think at the end of it, it said something about, we'll see our response time the next time they need us, or something to that effect. This was the most unbelievable testimony from this deputy sheriff I've ever seen in my entire life. And I came up to him at the fireworks in Butner and wanted to open my purse and say, would you like to steal money out of my purse while I'm watching you? Or do you want me to turn my back? He stole from every single one of us. He abused his power. He pulled deputies off their patrol to have meetings for his election. This is gross. This is just, it's worse than gross. And if you haven't shared the testimony of that candidate, I'm begging you, share it with everybody you can. Please do it, because I don't want that man in power. I want Vance Johnson. Vance Johnson's got no issues on his record. He's the best candidate for this job. And there's no way that I will be happy living in Granville County if anybody else gets in. And thank you to Chad and Mike and all those who helped.
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did I pay you already?
Oh, wait a minute, you want my
So,
purse?
listen, the whole point of this wasn't to have a pity party for Mayor Mike or run down the unaffiliated candidate. The whole purpose of this was to get the correct information out to the people that need to get the correct information out. And to remind you all that the most experienced candidate, the best candidate, and so far the cleanest candidate is here. And we've worked to get him elected and all the other Republicans elected. And January 1st, we can hit the ground running and make changes and do what we need to do to right some wrongs and fill in some holes and fix relationships and all the other things that will happen with good Republicans in power. So, anybody else? I'm gonna give you one last crack. Yes, yeah.
We gotta work harder to get in there. Smoot's not gonna win. The percentages, the numbers are not there. He's not gonna win. What is it there for? Why is he there? Why is he running? Think about it, people. He's running to suck votes off of this man right here, so that they can have 4 years of the other guy. So that then they'll be ready to put somebody in, and they'll go after him from within. You understand? That is my synopsis of it.
Red, real quick, and then I have
That's it.
two things I wanna share.
Real fast.
Yes.
I lived in Wake County for 20 years. If you wanna see what happened when
Yeah.
the other side gets in,
Mhm.
ask Wake County the last 4 years.
And Durham.
Amen. Sheriff Baker.
And Durham.
I'm a lifelong friend of Donnie Harrison's, know the man, love him like a brother. And I'm telling you right now, the day that he left office, I knew so many good deputies that were either fired or laid off. And the political agenda was pushed, and you do not want that in Graham County. That's why people are fleeing Wake County, is mainly because of the sheriff.
Okay. I'm gonna move on. I have two more things that I wanna share, and then Courtney has, Frank, do you have anything you wanna? We had a wonderful Monday night. Let me talk about our Monday morning. We had a coffee with the candidates. Frank and Vance and Brad and Courtney were there, and we had about 30 folks, 28, 30 folks. Some unaffiliated, mostly Republicans, a couple of Democrats, who probably won't vote for any of us. But they were there, and they asked questions, and we welcomed them in with open arms, and it was really good. We planned it for about an hour and 15 minutes and ended up staying 3 hours. And just had a round table and talked about things, and I thought it was really good. And Frank is gonna do a couple more in Vance County, and I think we're gonna plan another one in Granville County.
We did one today, Vance and Chitwood, that turned out really good.
Okay, wonderful. And that was it your idea or Jimmy's idea? Oh, you were first, you raised your hand, Jim. Good job. That was good thinking, they were great.
I talked to Mike about partnering with you guys to maybe do right here, a fundraiser for the county here, and do like a pancake supper thing right here, right? And so we split money, and it's easy, it's very easy. Everybody's got a Blackstone, every man in here, Andy up, you know you got one. And people, you cook them, it's fast, it's easy, you can sell them, it's cheap. And we can make some money for the party and for the county.
That's a great idea. Let me load up. I have two quick, so I had this idea, it wasn't my idea. Actually, it was my idea, and then I found out everybody else was doing it after I had this great idea, and I was like, oh, that's such a great idea. It's already been done. So, Courtney's having a in-person county next Friday. You're doing a movie showing.
It's this Saturday.
This Saturday, I'm sorry.
Whose children are they?
Whose children are they? About the,
It's about what's going on in education, so it'll be in Palace Point this Saturday at 7 p.m.
talk more about that when you get up to the mic. But I had, you guys familiar with Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire?
Yep.
I found a couple great videos that I think, what I'm thinking of doing is maybe in August, having a movie night, and maybe in September having a movie night. These are the two movies I'm thinking about having, so give me a minute and let me load them. This
What did
spice
you say?
things up.
What'd you say?
This is good, but, you know, we can, would everybody be cool with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
If no, then,
Tell them.
I was not in AV club in high school.
There you go.
a disclaimer, Eds, and close your ears. There is some language and innuendo in this trailer. I don't know how to get away from it because it's a real subject, it's a real thing, so that's my, disclaimer.
What is that? I'm a husband. I'm a father of 4. I host a talk show. I give speeches. I write books. I like to make sense of things. A woman is not anything in particular.
There is not one particular thing. It could be many things to many people.
Some women have penises, right? Some men have vaginas.
I like scented candles. I've watched Sex and the City.
Yeah.
How do I know if I'm a woman?
That's a great question.
You're not a scientist. You're not a gender studies major. No. How do you know that you're a man?
I guess because I got it.
You're a man become a woman?
I'm not a woman, so I can't really answer that.
Women only know what women are.
Are you a cat?
No.
Can you tell me what a cat is? You want to tell us what a woman is?
I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male. I will never be a man.
And so they go on the internet and they're told that all their problems will be solved if they become a man.
So you worry that there could be a sort of social contagion element to this?
A teeny tiny thing. It got me at 42. Your child doesn't have a chance.
They're affirming it with hormones that have never been used in this way.
Puberty blockers, which are completely reversible.
One of the drugs used is Lupron, right? Which has actually been used to chemically castrate sex offenders.
You know what? I'm not sure that we should continue with this interview.
So you don't want to talk about the drugs and appeal to kids, or?
How can they be removing the healthy breasts of 15-year-old girls?
There are masculine girls. There are feminine boys. What are we going to do about that? Carve them up?
How can this whole thing be happening, Matt?
I wanted us to have a safe place to be able to talk about this.
Part of me wants to ask why you care so much.
I care about the truth. I care about children. I care about the women who are having their opportunities stolen from them.
Is it transphobic to tell the truth?
Genders are traffickers.
Excuse me.
Well, therefore, I just want to know what is a woman.
I don't know my God.
Based on what I'm saying, would you ever want to move to America?
They say no. Never.
I hope you enjoyed it a little bit.
We'll see when it comes out.
Chad, can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Paula.
The group Eventbrite that takes tickets, you can use it as like an online thing you can sell tickets for. Wake County GOP was gonna use this one night for their movie night, and Eventbrite canceled it and sent everybody back their money because they didn't want to be associated with this movie.
Wow.
They said that it wasn't something that they wanted to be involved in. So they sent all the GOP people back their money and canceled Wake County's event.
Don't use Eventbrite.
Yep.
Don't use Eventbrite. Go look, go broke.
We don't.
No.
Judge Thomas, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Please be seated.
When I was 6, I wandered streets by myself. You were hungry and didn't know what you need. Someplace in my life, the road split off. I'd gone to the seminary. I'd gone to all white schools. I was never going to be a part of that world. I was never going to be white. The problem is I can never go back completely to the world I came from. We're supposed to be revolutionaries. We were for anybody who's kind of in your face. I saw what I had become, lashing out at every single thing. And I asked God a few return to where I started.
I want my candidacy to unify our country.
I was under constant attack. You're not really black because you're not doing what we expect black people to do.
I will nominate Judge Clarence Thomas to serve as Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court.
That's when all heck broke loose.
Judge Thomas began to use work situations to discuss sex.
We know exactly what's going on here. This is the wrong black guy. He has to be destroyed. It really didn't matter. What mattered was what they wanted.
So you'd still like to serve on the Supreme Court?
I'd rather die than withdraw from the process. I want to be able to say I lived up to my oath and did my best.
Okay, so my plan is perhaps in, next month, we do a movie night, date night? Anybody? Yeah, maybe, no? Okay.
Yeah, I like the movie night.
Movie night, okay, well, we'll try that.
We have a popcorn machine too, so we can.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So, yeah, we talked about some pizza, Coke, and popcorn, and the small entry fee, and then the free movie. Right?
That's right.
So, Mike's gonna take care of that.
District 2 School Board. District 2 School Board.
Oh, yeah, the other, Courtney, get ready. You ready? There is now currently a vacancy on the District 2 School Board. If anybody is aware of a conservative that would be willing to throw their hat in the ring for District 2 School Board. District 2 is Oxford, north to the Virginia line, Stouffville to Vance County line, that big swath. So.
What will they have to do to get on the ballot?
Well, it's not a ballot issue right now. I believe it's just an application with the school board.
Okay.
However, if we find someone that is committed, I would like to think that they would submit their name with the intention of running for it regardless if they got it or not.
They would finish out the term until 2026.
Okay, so that's how, okay, so, oh wow, yeah, because he was just elected.
Yeah, he just got elected in 2020,
2020.
and then he's resigning at the end, like at the end of this month.
So it would be essentially 4 years, a 4-year
Yeah,
hitch.
the application, interview process, just like a job, and then they would fulfill the term until 2026.
Okay, so it's a
It's a big commitment.
it's a big commitment, but
It is.
any,
But the most important one.
a very important one,
Does the Board of Education make the call, or is it the
Yes.
administration?
The board,
the board. So
which is why we need really good candidates.
we need to find a candidate that they can't say no to, essentially. So, as I spoke before, if we're not willing or we're not able to physically get to thousands of homes to get the vote out of Republicans that don't normally vote or need to vote for candidates to win. And we only have so much money to spend on mailers, and mailers are great, mailers work, but they cost money.
Mm.
The other alternative is.
Phone banking.
and-
Phone banking.
Did you not want this recorded? Okay. So Courtney's gonna talk about phone banking and give us a quick tutorial on phone banking.
Yeah. Is it okay if I do a couple quick announcements just
Sure.
first? Because I feel like if I don't go through those, I'll forget. So, can y'all hear me okay? Okay.
Are your announcements strategy announcements?
No, it's like a million different things. It's
Okay.
on my brain right now. It's a
Because
brain
we're gonna, I don't wanna record any strategy type
Oh,
stuff.
no, it's not like that. Okay. So I just want to go through an update. I just had my first and maybe only town hall with my opponent, Valerie Fouché, last night. It was a Zoom video meeting, and so I was shocked that she did it. We did just send it out in an email. If you don't get the Courtney Gills for Congress emails, this is not the volunteer emails, this is just the overarching. We have like thousands of people that get them. A lot of them go to spam, so go look in your spam if you don't get them. And if you're not signed up for emails, we do have a clipboard out there in the lobby. You could write down your name and contact information. Noah, can you raise your hand? So Noah is going to be the new county coordinator for Granville County, along with his wife Abigail. The Conways, Barb, thank you so much for all you and Ron have done for me. They're still going to be volunteering. They're just dealing with some stuff. So Noah's going to jump in, and he's really pumped to help, and I'm really pumped to have him. So get with Noah, get to know him. He'll probably be out at the table once we kind of dismiss, so you can get your information on there if you're not getting communication. And if you didn't get the link to that town hall, I find it kind of entertaining because I expected her. She's been in the state legislature for 8 years. She's been county commissioner. She's been a school board member, and I was expecting like a really polished, like, you know, you've heard Mark Walker talk, like how he's so good, you know, like you expect that out of somebody who's done this before. But I mean, she doesn't even really look at the camera. So I would challenge you to just watch that and share it with as many people as you know. Especially any of those Democrat friends that you know, the ones that maybe lean a little more conservative, that might change their mind, because it's pretty shocking how little she gives as solutions. So let me know if you didn't get that information. I also have a fundraiser. Sorry, I don't get to come to Granville County very often, so y'all are just getting all of my information all at once. Because Alamance meets the same night as y'all, so I have to go back and forth. I do have a fundraiser coming up. Some of you may have gotten this in the mail. It was kind of randomly mailed out. You go and see. Don't feel left out if you didn't get one. It was like, again, mailers are expensive, so it was just kind of like a data analysis thing. So it wasn't anyone getting chosen out of anybody else. It's a very open fundraiser. We need to raise money. I need to be able to get the message out about my candidacy, about being a nurse, about not being a career politician. Pretty much everything that's in that town hall meeting, I need to get that information out. And so we have some extra ones of these. I only have about 10 of them. So if you're really interested in coming, it's at High Rock Farms on August 26th. So it's a little less than a month out. It's on a Friday night. And so if you'd like to come, I have some extra one of these. It's also on my website. So you can buy tickets online, or you can send in a check, but all that information I can get you. And then the movie night is this Saturday at Palace Point in Person County. How far is that from y'all? It's like, you're going like a different direction, I would guess. I'm guessing like 30 minutes, I don't know.
Yeah,
Half
about
hour?
35 minutes when I drove.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, so this movie, and these movies are great. Brian, raise your hand. If y'all don't know my husband, that's Brian. We watched the What is a Woman, and it is just, I will say something about that documentary is it's like at least laughable, but it's unfortunate it's like true. But it is a little more entertaining. The one that I'm showing this Saturday, I would say is not entertaining at all. It's disgusting. It's 2 full hours, and I would say they packed in a lot of information in 2 hours. I mean, it is a movie. It's done well for entertainment, but it is exhausting, I would say. So, but I think every single person needs to hear it. So if you have friends or family in church, I would say around this area, and you're willing to bring them to it, people that are not in tune with what's going on, it is extremely eye-opening. It just completely goes through the whys behind why we see what's going on in school. So that is this Saturday I would recommend getting there at 6:45.
What's the name of the film?
It's called Whose Children Are They? Whose Children Are They? And it's $6 at the door. You pay just like you buy a regular movie ticket. I'm also doing a beach vacation raffle. It's at the end of August. We're drawing the raffle on, it's oceanfront, beach house, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 3-night stay, $50 raffle ticket, or 5 for $200. So
in Hawaii?
No, and that would suck to have to buy a plane ticket. I only paid $50 for your 3-night stay, but you have to buy an airplane ticket. No, it's at Emerald Isle. Sorry about that. It's Emerald Isle, so you can drive there. Okay, so I think that's everything. So this is the phone banking fun stuff.